Welcome to Counsel, the show where we explore all things masculinity through 15 portals of conversation. I'm your host, professional rugby player for Toulon in England, Carl Sinckler. My co-host is Olliver James. Ollie has worked as a mentor with professional men within the worlds of sport, business and entertainment for the past decade. With that being said, let's get this show started. As mentioned, there are 15 portals of conversation which are all related to masculinity, which you can see on your screens right now. From here, Ollie will choose a portal, I'll initiate a question, we'll then have a conversation for around 10 to 15 minutes on an answer which is directly related to men. Look, we all know you've got things to do, so we're going to get straight to the point. But before we start, I just want to say a massive thank you to Vivo Barefoot for sponsoring the show. Check out vivobarefoot.com for all of the latest and greatest in barefoot function and fashion. Personally, I've been using Vivo Barefoots for the past 6 years and they are honestly a game changer. Thank you so much, guys. Ollie, what portal are you choosing on our show today, bro?
Okay, let's have a little look. I'll get the graphic up. Have a little look at. Okay, what's intriguing me? Okay, wait, I can't read Roman numerals. What is that? Number 8. Number 8, yeah, number 8. Let's go. Number 8. I'm looking at hair loss. Let's try that.
Oh
today.
My God, this is gonna be deep. This is gonna be deep. Okay, I got you. All right, let's get going.
Okay.
Ollie, I would say this is a big topic of conversation within the modern day man of all ages. Please, can you explain why as men, we are so concerned with losing our hairline and our hair?
Oh, throwing that one on me.
Yeah.
I guess initially I would probably talk about, maybe I'll start with myself. 6 years ago, I started working with this client. At the time, I had a really nice straight hairline, perfect hairline. 6 years later, it seems to be thinning and receding. Could you, so essentially I'm saying stress is a big issue. So could you tell me who that client is by any chance? Let's start there.
It's ringing some bells.
Someone's causing me a lot of stress. You got any ideas who?
Some names are coming to mind, but I just can't put my finger on it. Put my finger on it.
We had a good start with the World Cup in 2019, and from there the stress came in for sure. So essentially what I'm saying is stress has a huge impact on hair loss. I understand this. I mean, to say it's something. I think the biggest battle when it comes to any change in a man's body, hair, wrinkles, all these kind of things is self-acceptance. As we get older, things break, and that's okay. Yeah. If you can unlock self-acceptance when it comes to things changing in your body, you're the hero of your own life. You've mastered reality, because it doesn't matter what anyone says or anyone thinks. You accept yourself for who you are. So what can anybody say to you to rock you? That's true mastery, and that's true mental strength to be able to say, you know what? Yeah, my hairline's thinning a little bit. I mean, I have long hair because from a functional perspective, from what I understand, and we were talking about stress directly impacts the nervous system. So it tends to be that when people are stressed, they lose hair falls out. This is a common thing within science, it's common knowledge, yeah? So stress impacts the nervous system, and the hair is an extension of the nervous system. It's a living thing, it's not dead. No, it's a very common piece of knowledge that's available even on social media these days, that Native Americans understood that the hair was an extension of the nervous system, essentially like their antennas. And the way this was understood is because in the Second World War, or no, actually, I think it was the Vietnam War, when they called Native Americans in to work as trackers. They got incredible intuitive skills as trackers. When they did, they, what's the word? Conscripted them? Conscription? Yeah. When they did, they shaved their hair off, and the Native Americans lost their ability to track effectively.
You're lying.
Yeah, this is like a common piece of knowledge. I've even seen things on social media about it, but it was knowledge I had been given before. And so what we're understanding is that, for me, as I say, the reason I have long hair is not a look thing. It's just, it feels like my antenna. It feels like an extension of my nervous system. It gives us an element of perception. You shave your hair off, you become almost, that's what they used to do to enslave people in the past. As soon as they enslaved people, I think it was particularly in China, they used to shave their hair off since they're enslaved
Yeah.
as a way of disconnecting them from their environment, their own intuitive selves. And this has been proven through the Native Americans when they were called into the army. I think it was the Vietnam War, and they lost their ability to track because they shaved off their antennas. So we have this understanding that if stress affects your nervous system, if your life is stressful, that's going to have an impact on your nervous system. And if your hair is an extension of your nervous system, that's going to have an impact on your hair, isn't it? So if I work with, a particular client who's causing me a lot of stress, as much as I love them, I might find that when I brush my hair, I've got a few more hairs in the hairbrush.
Yeah.
So one thing that we can do, maybe if we just talk initially about stopping hair loss, is maybe look at stress level. There's quite simple, quite common knowledge. Yeah. Maybe mixed in with a bit of an understanding that hair is an extension of the nervous system. And then maybe could you give me some context as to where this has come from when it comes to your understanding of seeing people struggling with hair loss in modern day?
Yeah, I would say just being around a lot of men all the time, especially in a rugby environment, you can see the stress it causes, Ollie, that person when they can notice, like, because rugby, it is quite a funny environment at times, and obviously guys will take fun out of the person if their hairline's receding or if they're losing their hair, and you can honestly see the effect that has on that person, and then the lengths that they go to try and correct what's going on, whether it's the hairline going back or hair loss. And obviously you've brought in today with the self-acceptance, and I'm just thinking like how society has changed, because I would feel kind of like the old school era of men, they definitely were more self-acceptance with their hair loss and how their body would change. But now I would find guys go to such extreme lengths, Ollie, to try and maintain, that hairline and to maintain their hair. Why do you think that is?
Well, the self-acceptance is definitely the weapon against it. Like if you're so accepting of yourself, and you get a bit of banter in your environment, work environment, rugby environment, whatever, which has been going on forever. It's supposed to be there. It's healthy. Banter's healthy, right? Like, you're going bald or whatever, soman says something.
I feel for them though, Ollie, bro. I'm like, oh man, like, put my arm around him. I'm like, sorry, bro.
You got that nice, neat, tapered hairline of yours. Yeah, you just consoling everybody. I definitely saw this with my uncle, who unfortunately committed suicide, and he
sorry, man.
He really struggled with losing his hair. Really struggled with it. It wasn't the direct reason. There was a lot of things going on, but I know it was certainly a contributing factor to his decision in terms of his self-esteem. And he wasn't very accepting of himself. And although it wasn't the overriding factor, the overarching factor as to why he chose to take his own life, certainly the lack of self-acceptance, lack of self-worth based on his hair loss was a contributing factor. So I've definitely seen the sting of this within my own family and how it affects people. And as I say, developing that own internal self-acceptance towards the understanding that, as I said earlier, as we get older, things break. And what I'm saying here is that is okay. Like it used to be that men's hairs are supposed to recede as they get older. You can get I think they call it the M hairline, right? I think I got one of those. It's like
I call it the Rivaldo. I don't know if you remember the famous footballer.
Brazilian.
The Rivaldo. Yeah, legend.
The maturing hairline. I think the problem these days is because so many grown men are getting the hair transplants, and we're all looking at social media and these kind of things. So many grown men are.
That's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, they're going to Turkey. They're getting this perfect hairline. So young men are looking on social media. All they're seeing is this perfectly symmetrical, straight hairline everywhere they look. Movie stars.
This makes sense.
Yeah, like if you were watching your favorite actor in a movie and he had a maturing hairline, he's growing 40 years old, whatever, which is just a natural thing. It's okay. That's natural. If you saw that amongst your heroes, would you want to jump on a plane to Turkey and square your hair off?
Nah.
You'd be like, oh, well, I mean, there are still some guys who represent the bald head really well. Like, this is used often, isn't it? I see people talk about this when it comes to hair loss on social media, but like Jason Statham or
The Rock,
Stone Cold Steve Austin back in the day. I remember,
that's the man. He's the man.
I guarantee that guy will get, attract more attention women than a guy with a perfect hairline back in the day. Because it's your charisma, it's your energy, it's your aura. You can carry and you can rock that with a bald head if you accept yourself. So the greatest weapon against what's going on right now in terms of social media and everybody being so obsessed with how perfect they look, because we're constantly looking at each other, constantly got our faces in our phones, looking at other people's faces with perfectly symmetrical hairlines. We're looking at our heroes in movies, in sport. Everybody's going to Turkey. Everybody's getting the hair transplant. And it's making us really conscious. Whereas if we were looking at our heroes who just, and these men were just accepting themselves like grown men used to be, even have a little bit of banter about it. Like, Carl, you've stressed me out so much. My hairline's gone from straight to an end. No, like
Ollie Rivaldo James.
Ollie Rivaldo James, that's it, exactly, you know? So, and it's just being able to laugh at yourself. That's the greatest thing. Like you're dealing with someone who's giving you a bit of a hard time about what's going on, and you joke about it too. You're diffusing that situation.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I think the problem, the reason why this is coming up is because we're staring at each other so much on social media, and all of our heroes are getting hair transplant. So what is everyone doing?
Going to Turkey and getting hair transplants as well.
You know, whereas if everybody was just seeing their heroes naturally, let's say movies, sport, whatever, if they're naturally accepting themselves, like, you know, I'm going to hold on to my hair as long as I can, enjoy it. And if it ends up back to my arse, then I'll shave it off, you know?
No, but that's what, Ollie, I swear to God, that was kind of, when you were talking, I could just picture, say, someone tuning into the show today who's like receding and is literally going bald, and they're like, well, it's all right for Ollie and Kyle, well, but Ollie to say, about this self-acceptance when he's got, you know, his hair looks like bloody Samson, you know? So that's what I was kind of coming to me.
My hairline's not perfect, it's not straight. In fact, when I was a kid in school, I've always had very fine hair, very thin hair. When I was a kid in school, I'm showing my age here, but in the 90s, we used to have, you won't have done this, Carl, you know, but you've got that nice thick afro hair, but as a white boy, you know, you've got this, I've got this thin, fine hair, and we used to slap a whole load of Shockwaves hair gel, wet look hair gel back in the 90s, you know, all the styles that were going on. As soon as you put that wet look hair gel in your hair, it's like stuck to your head, you know. I've got some terrible pictures back in the day, but it would look, my hair would look really thin and really fine because I naturally have thin, fine hair. And other kids would, you know, be ripping on me for that, even as an early age, for having thin and fine hair. So
really,
there was something that had been, it had an effect in my family. Say my uncle committed suicide, and part of that was his self-acceptance and self-esteem about how he looked. And so then, you know, I remember feeling very self-conscious about it as a kid. Maybe I should have just stopped using the old school Shockwaves. And as I got older, I did do that, but no one really told me at the time. And, you know, we've all done some catastrophic things as kids, as you're young men or whatever, to, you know, some hairstyles I'm sure you might look back at and not like about yourself. But I remember it affecting me then. Maybe I got over it early because of that. But I would say anyone who's struggling with it, as I said today, you know, first of all, maybe stop looking at these guys who are doing it synthetically. It's like looking at a girl and thinking, you know, one woman looking at another woman and thinking, wow, you know, I'd love to have breasts like that, but they're not actually real, right? It's like it's true. It's true. You can't judge yourself on something that's synthetic. Come back to nature. Come back to what's organic. Come back to natural aging. Yes, we can do lots of things to help that. We can reduce our stress. We can increase blood flow to our hair. We can drink less coffee, which creates cortisol response and can cause hair loss. Lots of things like that. We can improve the vitamins, the minerals in our diet to improve our hair health and our body health. We can do lots of things like that. But if you get too fixated on it, you might just miss out on life. So the better thing to do would be to utilize the weapon of self-acceptance. As we get older, things change, and that is okay.
Ollie, thank you so much for your insight today on an episode of Counsel. Guys, make sure you hit that subscribe button to keep up to date with all our latest episodes on YouTube, and don't forget to hit that like button also. Please follow us on all our social media platforms. If you like what you heard from Ollie and want to learn more, visit saveyourworld.com and follow Save Your World on Instagram. Thank you so much for making us part of your day. We will catch you all next episode. Bye for now.